welcome back.
Yes, we're still talking about titanium.
Generation 4.0
with Kasandra here.
So Kasandra, I know you mentioned about the gadgets issues, and also you mentioned about porn issues. And this is a question that actually I'm very worried of how to educate your children to of these porn issues in their in their minds.
Some survey has said that porn issues can lead to many other things
problems
in futures.
Well, just like I said before, when we are talking about controlling, developing the behavior, we have to make sure on the brain first, because brain is highly connected on the brain, on the behavior. So we have to ensure the brain mass when they're born. So of course we have to have a bigger babies, right? The mother has to be educated and healthy, mentally and physically. And the second one is this family has to be able to have the financial stability, so that's why they can provide the nutritional foods. And this nutritional food is leading to sleeping qualities of these children, so their brain is continuing to grow and developing in a good way. And then after that, movement, love and care, and also stimulation, the right stimulation. So when this brain is in a high quality, right, we can ensure, we can be certain that these children can develop the awareness, the learning process, the emotion, and also the control, the self-control. When we're talking about the behavior that cannot control, the impulsive behavior coming into addiction, this is because of the prefrontal cortex when during their development, the brain development during 0 to 18 on the childhood ages, right? When we're talking about this brain development, the prefrontal cortex is actually responsible in the controlling the behavior. During these years, children are not mature enough in the prefrontal cortex. And on the other part of the brain, the limbical system, it is actually the part that has the pleasure system. It's just like a gas and brake in the car. So the prefrontal cortex is the brake, and the limbic part is the gas there, right? Okay. So when the children grows and they cannot have the self-control because of the situation, and the parent does not provide the growth and development of the brain and the behavior, and also the way of parents treating the children, giving them a sense of happiness, the sense of appreciation. Children needs this appreciation. So when the children has no sensation of appreciation, then they develop into a person who looks for fun, who looks for happiness, because they cannot make it themselves in their brain, because the brain has developed into a wrong way. So that's why children cannot control. When let's have a bet. Which children in Indonesia who doesn't watch porn? What makes them different is the children with the good brain, with the healthy brain, with the intelligent brain, can stop and say, no, I have something else to do. I have something more important to do. But the other one, when they got exposed with this porn, they cannot say no. And that, wow, it's interesting, it's amusing, and it's fun. And obviously, it can replace my mother and father because it pleased me when the mother and father cannot please him. And this is also connected with the education system, who cannot give the feeling, the pride, the happiness into a children's life.
So parents tend to be more creative now to find happiness for their children, basically.
And basically for this titanium generation 4.0, parents' part is very important.
Because children need to be happy during their development.
But what about parents who work? Nowadays, almost all mothers and fathers
looking for money for competition.
That's right.
Busy.
So what happens then if how do you balance that with your children if you have to work? Because if you don't work, then your children don't eat, obviously, right? In this generation.
But we need to have intelligent mother and father to deal with that. So maybe they can have a different kind of job, they can have a replacement, they can have a substitute, they can have a bodyguard or something like that, they can have a CCTV or something like that. But we also have a kind of the family who look after and watch our children. What we need is a system.
Okay.
How the system can really ensure the safety and security of the children, but not only providing them with food and study, but also with the stimulation. How our children, we're not talking only about the heaviest one. We have to also talk about the poor ones, right? The malnutrition children. So we need to talk about these children, because when they are losing and lacking the opportunities to grow their brain, so we're going to have a lot more psychosocial problems connecting with the behavior.
It's okay. Based on your studies here, especially to focus more into cognitive behavior, you have, of course, you have talked to several parents, right? So what is the problem basically
the number
in terms
one
of
issue.
building this cognitive behavior? What is
Well,
lacking?
Well, mostly they're stunned. Mostly they're so surprised. This is what I would like to talk about. That psychology, health, and a lot of science has to place their practice with the evidence base. We cannot just talk with the old days or pastime facts. We need to update all the time. So this research on behavior modification and also neuropsychological is the current issues that a lot of people, teachers, parents are so surprised with the fact that neuroscience can really explain why the children behavior is acting like that, and why it is connected with the brain, and why is it connected with the education of the parents. And so I believe we need to convey a lot of messages, more messages to many key person in the country, so we can have really a change in the way of we teach, we raise our children, so we could expect to have a better generation in the future. Because if we don't do such thing, if we don't do this change, so we just could expect that everything would be the same. And this a lot of psychosocial problems. Don't forget that I am a clinical and forensic psychologist who works a lot in the psychological disorders and children who face legal action, legal suits, because they are in a very young age, they are already committed a lot of crimes. So what makes them to do so is that the brain is the reason why. And don't forget that 40% of our manpower is elementary graduates, 30% are secondary graduates. So we can see that high school is only 20 and the university graduates is only 10%. So if we just let this 70% becoming our burden, becoming the cost of the country, and it's very expensive, so it's better to change.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Now we know the role of parents, we know the role of teachers, and then we know the role of family members as well. Now what about the role of government though, in terms of shaping
Are you happy
young
with
generation?
government's doing at the
perhaps they
moment?
should like implement certain laws or take out certain laws.
Yeah, you're so very right that some law has to be adjusted, and we need to change some policies. But again, the government needs to be exposed with the new facts that actually all of those statistics already been haunting our country. So, for example, the death rates of mothers, the early marriage and young women, and also the pregnancy, it's actually lead to a lot of psychosocial problems. So government has to change. Government has to be aware on this and also support this movement. So we would we would like to continue this fight, and we also expect to have a cooperation with another party. So, for example, A2G has a special cooperation with Food Bank of Indonesia.
Food Bank of Indonesia.
Food
okay.
Bank of Indonesia is actually collecting foods and distributing this food for free
All right.
Okay.
for those social challenge group, the group that cannot afford to have their own food. Well, this Food Bank of Indonesia has started in Jakarta, but they wish to have also in other parts of the country. And the second one is Sekarnusa. Sekarnusa is the one who's actually initiating movement, a traditional dance, singing, because singing is also the way of teaching our children. So we would like to change the story, the dancing, and also the inspirational songs for children in order to improve their brain. And the last one is Taman Bacaan Pelangi. Taman
yes.
Bacaan Pelangi. Taman Bacaan Pelangi has already built 39 libraries in East Indonesia. So these four nights,
Knight in shining armor.
yes, would like to expand this cooperation in all over Indonesia.
All right, Kasandra, sorry the time is up, but
Yes.
thank you so much for being here. And of course, I like the slogan there on her pin there,
Yes,
Save
we should
Indonesia.
save
Of course, we need
That
to
is
save the
true.
country
We
with a
need
good and better, much better generation.
That's right, young generation.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Kasandra.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So now, time to,
Go for another break.
yes,